For over 3 decades, the Ferrari Challenge has carved out its own prestigious niche in the world of motorsport, establishing itself as a premier single-make series. From its European debut in 1993 to its now almost iconic global finals at the legendary Mugello circuit, it's a series steeped in history and performance. In 2024, a new chapter began with the Ferrari 296 Challenge stepping into the spotlight, marking the 9th car in the series history and boasting the most power ever seen in the Challenge series. So when this latest prancing horse galloped onto iRacing, promising cutting-edge aerodynamics and specially developed Pirelli tyres, the question wasn't if it would be fast, but how it would translate that real-world pedigree to the virtual tarmac. My initial, rather unenthusiastic thoughts on the Ferrari 296 Challenge? Well, they've been absolutely blown out of the water. I knew very little about the Ferrari Challenge series itself leading into this latest iRacing update, but this car has really opened my eyes. It turns out this prancing horse isn't just another pretty face, it's got some serious bite. This car is far more involved to drive than I first thought. I expected it to be a slightly less stable GT3 car with longer braking zones and not much else. And that's almost true with the traction control set at the baseline settings. It's a relatively compliant car despite the twin-turbo V6 sitting behind you. But here's where the magic happens. If you dial that traction control down to map 1, you quickly realise this isn't just another GT car on the sim. This thing has personality. Particularly on lower fuel loads, the 296 Challenge actively moves around while you push it harder around the track, and let me tell you, I absolutely love that. Personally, I think it's so much more fun on lower traction control settings, even if it isn't ultimately faster. It reminds me a little bit of the old GT1 cars, that raw, unadulterated sensation of fighting a beast that wants to break loose if you dare to disrespect it. It does go through a very brief tyre warm-up phase, but after that, this thing can attack lap after lap with minimal fall-off, which is perfect for the sprint races these cars are targeted toward. One thing to be mindful of is that the 296 Challenge isn't the most compliant over sawtooth curbs. Being accurate on those higher, more aggressive curves will be crucial to lap time, because when this car bottoms out, it tends to lift the front wheels off the ground pretty aggressively. I've already had more than my fair share of wheelie moments. Now, let's stop for a second and talk about the brakes. The 296 Challenge boasts some seriously big stoppers, 408mm up the front and 390mm in the rear, and honestly, they're way more effective than I could have imagined. I found myself initially braking way too early for corners, so used to nursing other cars that need a little more persuasion to slow down. But with the 296, once you learn to trust it a bit more, you can really dive deep into some harsh braking zones while leaning on the ABS system. For those purists out there, you might be disappointed to hear that you cannot completely disable ABS on this car. However, don't think that this car won't bite. Like most mid-engine cars, if you trade off the brakes a little too abruptly on corner entry, it will happily kick around on you and leave you with little opportunity to catch it. The car has a good amount of aerodynamics on it as well, but it's nowhere near the same level as a full-blown GT3 car. Despite this, dirty air is a bigger factor than I expected in the high-speed stuff, and the draft has a really quite decent kick to it, which I feel is a little bit exaggerated by the long gearing used in 6th and 7th gear. This means slipstream battles into braking zones are going to be a common occurrence, making for exciting wheel-to-wheel action. However, you do need to be careful with car contact. This car does push the nose down very aggressively in front to rear contact, and I've copped wheel alignment damage on several occasions when door banging with another car, situations where I thought I could have otherwise got away with it. On the flip side, it's not as tricky to drive in the wet as I imagined either, so long as you use the recommended map 3 or map 4 on both traction control and ABS settings. Visually, I really like the look of the 296 Challenge. The aero extensions near the rear of the car are a particularly nice touch, giving it a purposeful, aggressive stance. My only minor gripe is that the rear wing looks a little overkill from some angles in my opinion, but overall it's a great looking vehicle that truly embodies the Ferrari spirit. Now, about its place on the sim. Being a D-Class Series car, I think it will be raced pretty regularly even once the initial hype dies down. One Make series on iRacing absolutely have their dedicated fan base, and the fact that this is now the fastest, most powerful car in any of those series, I believe it will be a strong favourite. My only concern is how fast and involved these cars are to drive for a D-Class series, considering some of these drivers are coming straight from MX-5 rookies. The sound, it's good, but nothing game-changing. It's a modern twin-turbo V6, and while it delivers the goods in terms of performance, it doesn't quite have that ear-splitting Ferrari shriek that makes the hairs on your arm stand up. So, the ultimate verdict. Is the Ferrari 296 Challenge an absolute must-buy for those who have been on the sim for quite some time? Well, it's probably not an add-to-cart immediately, no questions asked kind of purchase. If you're looking for something genuinely different from the standard GT3 cars, this is a perfect spin-off to mess around in. It offers a more involved and rewarding driving experience than many of its more compliant GT counterparts. Ultimately, the Ferrari 296 Challenge has surprised me in the best possible way. It's a powerful, engaging and rewarding car to drive, and it brings a unique flavour to the iRacing roster. So while it may not be for everyone, if you're looking for a prancing horse that demands a bit more from its jockey, the 296 Challenge might just be your new favourite ride.